Back to more racing action right after this. With over 25 years experience, Lucky Dog Detailing offers the best of the best in vehicle reconditioning, fully licensed and insured. Their number one goal is customer satisfaction and developing a friendship with each job. Call them at 704-401-6075 or visit them on the web at luckydogdetailing.com. Lucky Dog Detailing, the best of the best in vehicle reconditioning. This race brought to you in part by Blue Gray Plastic Fabrication, repair, design, and fabrication of plastic holding tanks and plastic form products. With over 50 years of combined experience working in plastic fabrication, Blue Gray has achieved a reputation of one of the foremost custom fabrication leaders in the industry. Find them on the web at bluegrayplasticfab.com or call 704-226-7024 and get a quote for your next project. That's Blue Gray Plastic Fabrication. Now back to trackside action with the ORR Lawn Care Truck Racing Series of the All-American Racing League. Back to more racing action right after this. This race sponsored in part by Graham Collision, professional automotive collision repair specialist. Visit either of their Iowa locations in Waukee and Urbandale for your collision repair and vehicle body work. Like them on Facebook or visit grahamcollision.com. Graham Collision, unparalleled support, unbeatable assistance. For the best selection of quarter midget parts online, look no further than FMI Racing. FMI Racing, helping racing enthusiasts everywhere achieve new levels of performance and quality in their vehicles with parts and gear. Give them a call at 770-720-1003 or visit fmiracing.com. 2092 Harmony Drive, Canton, Georgia. FMI Racing. Now back to trackside action with the ORR Lawn Care Truck Racing Series of the All-American Racing League. Back to more racing action right after this. Looking for a safe, effective cleaning system? Look no further. G-Tech Evolutionary Cleaners and Degreasers, certified by the EPA as a safer choice product. G-Tech can be used quickly and safely to remove soils and stains from most surfaces. Give them a call at 770-967-6988 or visit them on the web at buyGtech.com. G-Tech, 5346 BBS Way, Brazelton, Georgia. G-Tech, your one stop for professional, eco-friendly cleaning products. For tailgating activities or just plain backyard fun, look no further than Holio. Made to order cornhole bags and boards. No order is too large or too small. You can choose unfinished or finished with stain and polyurethane, and finished with a vinyl design or your company branding. Don't wait for the season to be over. Contact Holio on Facebook. Holio, made to order cornhole bags and boards. Now back to trackside action with the ORR Lawn Care Truck Racing Series of the All-American Racing League.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Homestead Miami Speedway, home of round number 8 of the Holio Cornhole Board Series for the 2022 fall season. Tonight we'll have the Miami Vice 175. Joining me in the booth tonight is Christian. How are you, Christian?
I'm doing all right, Nathan. Excited for this racing to go on. Homestead are really really good track for these Holio cars, with all the different lanes. So excited to see what these drivers can put on for us.
Yeah, it's definitely an interesting place. I know from my experience running it in multiple different cars, it's pretty slick to start out. So you got to really watch the corners and make sure you don't lose it on exit. But it's definitely a multi-groove track where we see some of the best racing on iRacing and in real life, in my opinion.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you there. With these Holio cars, I think tire saving is also going to be a big factor to this race. It seems like that's been a big factor in this Holio series throughout the season, even at the road courses. Saving your stuff and making your way up when it counts. So I expect to see a lot of strategies when it comes to tire and fuel.
That's very true, and I think I kind of ran a little stint against the AI earlier where you can adjust the fuel settings, and I think it's about 40 to 43, 44 laps these guys should run. So with 117 lap race, we should see at least a couple pit stops and hopefully some different strategy throughout the race.
Yeah, definitely. We've seen throughout the series, with drivers having these varying strategies. We've seen a lot of drivers that like the short pit, gain a little bit of edge, maybe trying to drag other drivers in. Then you also have, the strategy that a lot of people have had success with just trying to stretch it out as long as they can. Have that one less pit stop, and then slowly working their way back up on the fresher tires when they pit later.
Yeah, it's definitely been an exciting season for sure. All the races have kind of had the fuel saving element and the tire saving element, like you mentioned. So hopefully this one is just as good as qualifying is underway here with Jeremy Eggmans currently sitting on the pole after he's completed his 2 laps. Kyle Purcell is in second. It's just as I say that, Sean in the 04 who we were watching jumps to the top of the board. Dave Lorfano has completed his 2 laps, and he is in 4th, and Don Manning is rounding out the top 5 with looks to be 1 or 2 cars left to complete their qualifying run. I think Larry's out there right now. If we can find him, there he is.
And as you see these times, you see the top 4 are basically within a tenth of each other. So that just shows how competitive potentially this race is going to be. Of course, these drivers are doing like qualifying laps, pushing as hard as they can, to get the fastest time they can. But that just shows how competitive potentially this race can get at the end of this race, potentially.
It's very true. It's very true. So it looks like everyone's completed their qualifying. We have a couple minutes before we'll grid up and come to the pits. So in the meantime, I think we're going to take a quick commercial. We'll be right back.
Back to more racing action right after this. With over 25 years experience, Lucky Dog Detailing offers the best of the best in vehicle reconditioning, fully licensed and insured. Their number one goal is customer satisfaction and developing a friendship with each job. Call them at 704-401-6075 or visit them on the web at luckydogdetailing.com. Lucky Dog Detailing, the best of the best in vehicle reconditioning. This race brought to you in part by Blue Gray Plastic Fabrication. Repair, design, and fabrication of plastic holding tanks and plastic form products. With over 50 years of combined experience working in plastic fabrication, Blue Gray has achieved a reputation of one of the foremost custom fabrication leaders in the industry. Find them on the web at bluegrayplasticfab.com or call 704-226-7024 and get a quote for your next project. That's Blue Gray Plastic Fabrication. Now back to trackside action with the ORR Lawn Care Truck Racing Series of the All-American Racing League.
As we are back at the Homestead Miami Speedway for the Miami Vice 175, I just want to send a shout out to Adam Angerstein, who got his first Cup Series AARL win there on Tuesday night from the ever tricky Nashville Speedway. It was good to see Adam get his first win, and congrats to him.
Definitely, congrats to that. Like you said, worked really hard for that. Had some adversity at the end of that race, you could say. Um, have to navigate through some lap traffic, but at the end of the day, was towards the front that whole race on Tuesday, and was able to get his first win. So congrats to Adam, and hopefully he can carry that momentum throughout the rest of the Cup season.
That's true. It's locked him into the playoffs for sure, so that's a good thing, and hopefully he can, like you said, carry it through. If you just want to run us through the starting lineup there for us, Christian?
Yeah. Starting first is going to be Sean Purcell in that '04 Ford Mustang, followed by Jeremy Eggman in that '02 Ford Mustang. Starting third is going to be David Hara in that '15 Chevy, followed by Kyle Purcell in fourth. David Lufano in fifth, Larry Garnes in sixth, Don Manning in seventh, Tyrone Nero in eighth, Christian Delgado in ninth, and Johnny May is going to start out 10th.
Yeah, Christian, you told us you clicked the wrong button when you logged in, but it's okay.
Yeah.
We'll just pretend you're out there.
The broadcaster had an error, and clicked instead of watching, I clicked race, so we're gonna get a top 10 finish, so that's gonna be really nice.
That's it. Squeak in there for a top 10. So looks like Sean had a little trouble getting going, but he's there, getting up to speed on the access road now. So these guys will get caught up to the pace truck as they head down the back straightaway, and we look to come to the green flag. Hopefully we can avoid a lap one caution. We managed to do it last week. We've had a rash of lap one cautions the past couple races prior to last week, but hopefully we can avoid that tonight, and as we get set to go here with the start of the Miami Vice 175. Christian, you can take it from here to the start.
Waiting on the pace truck to get in, and then we'll start this all off.
Green flag.
And green flag. So Sean Purcell and Jeremy Eggman are going to battle it out for the lead going into turn one. And we're going to really see how well that outside middle lane is going to work. As you see Sean Purcell, gap Eggman a little bit on that bottom. It just looks like that bottom has a little bit more grip. As you see Eggman, Kyle Purcell, and David Hara on that battle out for that second spot.
Definitely a good battle here on the opening lap from Miami, and lots of track out there, as you can see, different grooves with the 16 car of Kyle Purcell right up against the wall. But here they come to complete lap number one, and just as he's done the past couple of races, Sean Purcell leads the way back into turn number one.
See Kyle really aggressive on that entry. As Eggman looks like we're trying to take a little bit more shallow entry, almost gets in the back of him. I'm interested to see how aggressive these drivers are going to be at the start of this race. With these Holio cars, tire saving is going to be big, especially at this Miami
racing action right after this.
Really tear them up, getting rid of the gas too much.
That's for sure. That's for sure. As we come down to complete lap number two, looks like Tyrone Yo must have some issues as he's hitting pit road, but back up front it's the 04 of Sean Purcell, the 02 of Jerry Mangman, and the 16 of Kyle Purcell leading the way with lots of distance left to go. Down the back.
You see David Hara and David Lufano out there battling out. Hopefully they can get it sorted out, because the more they stay side by side, the more they're going to lose these front three that have kind of, sorted their stuff out and have kind of started being content just running behind each other.
That's a good point, as we got the three Hillbilly Motorsports teammates there with Lufano, David Hara, and Larry Garnes. Looks like Lufano may have got up into the wall a little bit, maybe not, but great photo opportunity as they go three wide off of turn 4 down the back straightaway.
And it looks like Lofano just got a little bit snug into that center and just barely caught the ball. Doesn't look like any terrible damage to that Toyota, so he's going to keep battling on. That just shows how easy it is to set these cars out, or for them to get a little tight and have to chase it up and down the wall.
That's it. There's lots of grooves out there, but if you don't get it wound down quite enough, it definitely gets tight and pushes out to that outside wall. And one thing I can say from turning some laps here is the track looks the same at both ends, but it's definitely a little bit different. Definitely on corner entry, turn 1 is a lot harder to get in there in a good lane and get a good run into 2. It's definitely harder than 4, but it's one of the fun places on iRacing for sure.
It definitely, as you see, Sean Purcell, he's kind of giving himself a little bit of a gap, almost half a second to the podium drivers right here of Eggman and his brother Kyle. Kyle, I think is content with just running behind Eggman. I think these two are just trying to save some tires. I would think, they're not really pushing to get up with Sean right now.
Definitely not. Still lots of time to go. Only on lap 6 of 117. Make that 7 as they cross the line. But definitely no real need to push right now. And as we've seen in the last couple races, long green flag runs have been a definite thing that's been going on for this series. So it's definitely a long game, I think, for sure, this time out.
Definitely. I'm noticing that David Lofano right now is really riding that wall. I'm interested to see, how different his car is going to drive on these longer runs compared to these other ones, because he's driving a completely different line than really anybody else on the track right now.
He's definitely seemed to have caught back up to the back of the 16 car and the 02 car, who are kind of battling here for second place. He's definitely cut that back down. But yeah, definitely running the high groove. As he say that, he cuts down to the inside to try to get a run down the back straightaway on Purcell. Kyle, as he gets that spot for now, but Kyle looks to turn it back under on exit as David holds the point out of turn number 4.
Definitely. Especially at this Miami check, you can really rip that wall and get a great run out of the corners and out of turn 2 and out of turn 4, and just really slingshot yourself past that driver in front of you on the straights. And you can see that working for Lofano right now. But I would think, running the outside, you're going to tear up that right rear, and you're going to loosen that car up as the run goes on.
Definitely the longer way around, that's for sure, but you can definitely see the momentum. It lets you keep coming off the corner as he slots back into third place down the front straightaway, and it looks like he's going to settle back in and run off some laps here as we see a battle between the 16 and the 02 again, with Kyle looking to the inside of the forward of Eggman off of turn number 2.
Lots of good racing in there. We have second through fourth kind of within a couple tenths of each other. You see Larry Garnes is starting to work his way into this front pack right here. In a couple laps, he's probably going to be challenging Lofano, who's having some internet issues right now. He's going to be challenging him for that 4th spot.
Yeah, definitely a little bit of blinking on Lofano's part, but still out there. He's come back to life, I think, so a good sign for him as it hasn't dropped off completely. But still got that battle for second, with third and fourth looking to capitalize on any mistake that is made by those two cars.
Yeah, and this is definitely what Sean Purcell wants to see. The top 5 basically battling really hard. That's just going to let Sean save a little bit of tire and also just pull away from the rest of the field right here. As you see, he's almost got a 2-second gap on second place to his brother Kyle right now. The more they battle, the easier it's going to be for him to pull out to a bigger gap.
For sure, definitely can see that. And if when we ride on board Kyle, you can see the lap times of himself, his brother, and Dave, and it's the the Sean Purcell brother has been quick the last couple of laps, so definitely riding side by side, like you mentioned earlier, isn't ideal, and it's what the cars out front want to see to try to build a gap so that they can have some wiggle room. As it looks like Lorfano gets up and tickles the wall once again, as we have a battle now for I guess third, fourth, and fifth right there on your screen, folks.
Yeah, what a battle between these, for this top five, basically, Eggman, Lofano, and Garn's going at it right now. It looks like Kyle Patel got around all this, and he's going to go try to face on his brother right now. But great battle right now for third place.
And we don't want to count out the guys a little further back. As you see in sixth place is Don Manning, and then behind him, right on his back bumper, is Dave Hara in the 15. So not too far off the lead group, but definitely Sean Purcell out front right now, having his way with the field. But as I say that, we look at the lap time split times, and his brother Kyle was 0.3 seconds, 0.3 of a second quicker than him on that last lap. So definitely cutting back into the lead now that he's got free of those other cars behind him, and we'll see if he can track them down.
Yeah, it looks like to me that Sean's just trying to maintain this gap right now, because he's got, I think, a decent enough gap, a little over a second right now, that he can still save a little bit of his stuff. While Kyle has to, kind of push to get back up there. So I think Sean right now, running the wall, probably not trying to get in the gas too early, just trying to save those tires up there. While Kyle's ripping the bottom right now.
That's definitely true. As you can see, the gap was small, it grew a little big, and now it's growing back together between the two Purcell brothers. But definitely a good start to the race from both of them, as we've completed 15, working on lap number 16 here from Homestead, and lots of good racing, as we mentioned before. Probably getting close to halfway through a fuel run, so that should make these cars drive a little different, right? The more fuel they burn off, the more they weigh out the tires. It's definitely going to put it in the driver's hands, I think that's for sure.
I definitely agree with that. As the fuel goes off, the cars get a little bit lighter, they get a little bit more nimble, and the lighter they are, the easier it is for you to use up that right rear for it just to spin out a little bit easier. So, halfway through fueling, you're definitely going to see, these cars start to drive a little bit different.
Let's see here. Let's jump on board and ride around with the Fonz. He's got it right up there against the wall. It's pretty close, but I think that's where you need to be towards the middle of the end of the run. Once the tires run out, everyone seems to move up the track. It's definitely a little bit quicker up there for him. As you can see, he's got a little bit of front damage, but nothing that's going to really slow him down too much as he keeps up with the two guys in front of him.
And definitely for those fans at home, that really just shows how close enough to that wall they are on running these walls. And that's not an easy thing to do, right? That wall like that. One little slip up and you're going to, be up there. And especially in these Holio cars, if you get up there hard enough, then that wall looks so hard for the wall to let you go. So definitely not an easy feat. These guys running up inches away from the wall.
For sure, those black marks on the wall aren't up there for the show. It's probably from guys getting up there, and it's real life when they get tight. They get up into the wall, but not hard enough to really slow them down, I think, too much, as we still have some great battles here on the track.
Yeah, I'm surprised that, the Lofano and Garns have caught Kyle Purcell. It looks like he was trying to push to get up to his brother. As Lofano looks, that was so close to maybe get around. Kyle has to check way up.
And I think on that lap, it was Lofano who was loose on entry, and then the 16 got loose on exit. So definitely the cars are getting looser as the run goes on, which is making it a little more exciting for the viewers at home and us. But definitely going to see some good racing here.
Yeah, Lofano having to check up kind of gave Kyle a little bit of the lead, but we know Lofano, he's not going to give up. He's going to get up there and try to get around Kyle again. You see Larry just kind of lingering there right behind Lofano. I think he just trying to sink tires the best he can on that bottom. You haven't seen Larry move up to the top at all. He's kind of been determined he's going to run on the bottom, and keep it down there.
That's definitely for sure. As I think if you're going to run the bottom, you got to commit to it and see it out, because I know that it does have a bit of advantage, obviously, being the slower way around.
And Jeremy Eggman has wrecked. Looks like he was upside down. I don't know what happened.
Oh, hard contact with the inside wall going down the back straightaway there. If you caught the replay, not the best situation for the 0-2 car. We'll rewind it here quickly and get another view at it. See if he had any contact. He was running close to the 92, but we'll roll this one back and see if they got into each other.
Yeah, it looks like to me, he just got tight, hit the wall, and the wall just spit him out, and once the wall spit him back out, I don't know. I was on the straight. It looks like maybe like a wheel malfunction or something.
He gets a little loose out of 2, saves it, corrects it's going straight again, then all of a sudden it just goes out into the inside wall. Unless there was some neck code between him and the 92. Not 100% sure, but not a good result for the 0-2, unfortunately.
Yeah, I think. It's hard to judge because it looks like he gets a little upset out of 2, and then he just turns right and hits that outside wall, and then the wall spits him back out. It looks like maybe he thought he had it saved and tried to gas it back up, and he just turned right. Well, like I said, unfortunate for the 0-2. I think they have one fast repair. In this race, so gonna have to definitely use it now, but unfortunate for that 0-2 car.
Definitely, but as we were away watching that, it looks like the 20 of Garns was able to get by Lerfano. Queued up right here. Let's take a look at how Larry got that done. And just on the bottom side, he got by him down the front straightaway. Like I was trying to say before Eggman had his bit of an incident, if you're going to commit to the bottom, I think it's you got to do it and do it for the entire run, just to make sure that you see it through, because it is a shorter way around the track, so I think there is some advantage to it. It's just a matter of committing it and hitting your marks, right? Slowing that car down enough to get it around the bottom.
Yeah, definitely. And he's actually on the back bumper of Kyle Purcell right now, and Purcell's actually caught up to his brother Sean, so Larry has shown me that he's one of the best tire savers in the series. For a couple of races, you've seen him, ride around in 5th or 6th, save his stuff, and then just make a march through the field within like 10 to 15 laps, and then contending for this lead. So not surprised to see Larry, marching through the field as he gets past Purcell, and he's going to set his sights on Sean.
That's for sure. As we take a look at the split lap times, for sure Garns is the fastest. He was 0.3 faster than Sean on that lap, and Kyle was a bit faster than his brother, but not as fast as Larry was, for sure, as they head down the back straightaway and into turn 3. Let's see if Larry can reel in Sean up front.
Yeah, and with being on lap 28 right now, still I would assume probably a good 10-15 laps until they're going to want to come down and pop off on fuel and get some tires. So Larry has quite a bit of time, get up there and try to catch Sean. Maybe try to save some tires. Like we said before, one of the best tire savers in the field. So maybe, he's trying to save right now, right behind Sean, and then he's going to try to make his move when he thinks it's the best time to do that.
Well, one thing's for sure is we see Kyle Purcell come down pit lane on lap number 29. But back up front, Larry is definitely reeling in the 04 here as we go through turns 1 and 2 down to the back straightaway. And it's definitely see the strategy maybe start to play out now with Kyle coming to pit road. We'll see how quick fresh tires are over these 30-lap old tires when he hits back on the track. But right now it's still Sean, Larry, Dave Lurfano in third, Don Manning in fourth, and David Hara is in fifth.
Yeah, I was definitely surprised to see Kyle come down pit road. I assume now he's just going to try to split this race in the quarters since he pitted like almost, he's going to be coming out on lap 30, you know. And with this race being almost 120 laps, I presume he's going to try to split this in 30-lap segments. So I was very interesting strategy call. We'll see how it works out for him.
Definitely got to try to do something different than everyone else if you want to win one of these races. So I think this is him trying something different, and we'll see how it goes, right? As it looks like Larry is going to take the lead off of turn 4 as they come across the start-finish line, and we have a new leader at the Miami Vice 175 as Larry Garnes is starting to pull away from Sean Purcell here on lap number 31.
And you see the benefit of running that bottom opposed to running that top. Like we said before, Larry was really committed to running that bottom lane. You know, he still is. And you saw maybe around like what, lap 10, lap 15, you know, everybody's kind of migrated to that top. And, you know, Larry knew that the bottom would help save tires a little bit more, and, you know, that he'd have to be patient, and then that he'd slowly, you know, catch back up and pass everybody on this long run. So probably something that these drivers are gonna look at and learn from Larry. You know, he's kind of migrated to that middle now, just probably because, you know, these tires are worn out and it's not driving the best. But they're probably going to look at what Larry did. You know, they might not migrate up to that top as soon.
That's for sure. I guess we'll see how that plays out here over the second quarter and then through this back half of this race. But Kyle Purcell is on the new tires, looking to get his lap back as he's one lap down. And on that lap, he was 1.2 seconds quicker than Larry on the old tires. So definitely some advantage, obviously, to the new fresh rubber, and we'll see what kind of advantage it ends up giving Kyle at the end of the first kind of stint, right? See these guys run out the race here to approximately lap 40 when we think the fuel window is ideal, or the end of the fuel window, sorry, for pitting wise. So we'll see what happens with that. But right now it's still Larry out front of Sean. And it looks like Don was able to get past Dave Lurfano. Again, Manning maybe saving his tires. Wasn't running as aggressively early on in the run. He was kind of sitting back. And as we can see, he's another driver who seems to be a little bit more committed to the bottom line and up 4 spots since the start of the race.
And you saw, you know, Lurfano was running that wall after the start. And, you know, you see him dropping back. I mean, he's 5 seconds off the pace from the leaders right now. And, you know, at the start of this race, you know, he was up there trying to battle for this lead. So you can see how these different lands are affecting the way these cars drive. You see Lurfano having a ton of trouble on exit. You know, that car just looks super loose running that top. It looks like he maybe got another wall again. You can just see how varying these cars drive depending on, you know, where these drivers put the cars at through these runs.
Definitely a little bit of crinkle on the right side fender. Might be hurting him here later in the first part of this event, but still in 4th place, so nothing to shake a stick at. Still running competitive laps and just trying his best to stay up to speed so that he doesn't fall back too far. But still up front, Larry Garnes leads the way over Sean Purcell in the 04 Pepsi machine as they head down the back straightaway and dive it into turn number 3. And just looking at the lap times here, the last couple laps, Manning is the fastest car on the older tires. Obviously, Kyle is the fastest by far with the fresh rubber, but Don is kind of setting a bit of a quicker pace than both Larry and Sean here as we come approaching lap number 40 roughly.
Yeah, he's cut that gap down to the leader to about 3.5 seconds, and he was about 5 seconds, 5 laps ago or so. So definitely, you know, I think he saved his tires a little bit more aggressively than the rest of these drivers. You know, now that's starting to show. I'm interested to see when the rest of these drivers are going to come in. You know, we saw Kyle coming at lap 30. I'm interested to see how long these cars can go on fuel and have to force themselves to pit.
Yeah, it's definitely interesting, and I think as we get further and further into this run, we see Sean Purcell's lap times dropping off even further than they were earlier in the run. And looks like he's actually slowing down to come to pit road. Maybe yes, he is. We have pit stop for the event leader earlier from the event is Purcell. Brother Sean comes down pit road.
So it looks like Sean, hitting on lap 40 around that. So maybe he's trying to split this into 3 stints, unlike his brother. That looks like from what we saw, trying to do 4 stints. Interesting to see how they're gonna go. Like I said, I have no idea how far they can go on fuel. I presume it'd be around the 50-ish lap range, but I couldn't be certain.
Guess it's just a few laps away from finding out, but for sure with Larry still out there running some laps. Last time by, he ran a 36.406, and Kyle Purcell's last time on the new tires was 34.6. So almost 2 seconds quicker, but as I say that, Larry hits pit road for his stop as Don Manning stays out this time with everyone else. So just one more car down pit road here as it's Larry now on pit road.
Don's a person that's going to try to stick it out as long as he can. I mean, also a very good tire saver. You saw him catching Larry, which we thought was the, provisional best tire saver in the race right now, but he was catching Larry pretty quick, about, a half a tenth or a tenth a lap. So had gotten that gap down to 2 seconds before Larry decided to take it to pit. So I presume Don's going to try to run it out a little bit longer than everybody else does. He did that. He's been prone to doing that. He's done that in the last couple races. So wouldn't be shocked to see him, try to stretch it a little bit longer than everybody else.
Yeah, he's been known, like you said, he's been known to run it a little further than the other guys. But we'll see here as Larry's come out behind Sean, so not able to keep in front of Sean through the pit stop sequence. But obviously Kyle will be the race leader after it all shakes out. And then it should be his brother Sean, and then Larry will be hopefully, I think, in third place once everyone pits. But still, the first 3 cars, Don Manning, David Lerfano, and David Hara, have not come down to pit road yet, and they're Don's still running in the 35-second bracket range with Dave Lerfano and Hara respectively running in the mid to low 36s. So obviously pit stops should be coming soon for these guys, and we'll see how the results or the running order shakes out after that.
And definitely a bunch of interesting pit strategies. You saw Kyle come in 10 laps earlier than his brother Sean and Larry Garn. So we're gonna really see what towards the end of this second run how these tires are gonna kind of even everybody out, with how aggressive the tire wear is here at Miami. I'm interested to see if maybe Kyle pitting a little bit earlier is going to actually be a disadvantage here.
Yeah, it's you wonder how much time he can make up by pitting earlier, 10 laps earlier than these guys, if his strategy is to make that additional stop, which I don't think the other guys are based on the timing of their pit stop. So it's going to be definitely interesting to see how it plays out. I think as Don Manning still continues around, hasn't come down pit lane yet as we work on completing 45, the start of lap 36. It's still Don Manning, Dave Lerfano, and Dave Hara out there in third place. Again, top 3 haven't pitted, but behind them is Kyle Purcell, who is closing on the back of David Hara. So that could make things interesting and see how it shakes out. But up front, we still have Don Manning running away from Lorfano at this point.
Yeah, I think that Lofano and Haro are trying to stay out, maybe trying to get a caution to come out, maybe gain a bunch of track position, maybe hoping to trap some of these faster guys a lap down. But I can foresee maybe Haro and Lofano making their way down to the pit road. So it looks like Lofano is making his way down as we speak.
That's true. Just as we say that, Lorfano pulls into the box for what's expected to be a tank of gas, 2 cans of gas, and 4 tires, and he'll get back out there. But right now, Don is still out there, racking laps off to see how this makes out. And I don't know if it's going to work because it hasn't worked the past couple of races. The guy who's always seems to have run long kind of doesn't seem to get the success in the end, but maybe this is a different story, different track, different story. We'll see.
Yeah, I'm very interested to see how this plays out because Kyle's already tracked him down, and he's only 11 seconds behind Don right now. That's a pit stop is definitely going to take longer than 11 seconds. So with Don staying out, I wouldn't be surprised if he potentially gets a lap just because of how long these pit stops can take, entering pit road, the whole pit stop, and then exiting, I really don't see the advantage of staying out this long besides maybe a caution coming out.
Yeah, caution would definitely help him, although it would, with everyone kind of still on the lead lap, right, because they've been out there so long, they've all managed to get their laps back, so I don't know if there's any benefit now. I think the caution play has come and gone, but he keeps out there and keeps plugging away with the amount of fuel he has in his car.
Yeah. So the caution play would, I think the only benefit to maybe a caution would be, everybody would get their lap back, but, it'd still stack him up with everybody. So he wouldn't, be so far back once he exits the pits if this would go green. The only benefit of that, even that caution would be, it'd stack everybody back up and give him a shot to not maybe lose as much track position.
For sure. That's interesting. But as we continue to go, it looks like Kyle's back up into second place now that he gets by Dave Hara, who also hasn't pitted again. So 2 guys out there still haven't pitted, Hara and Manning, trying to run this out as long as they can. And to this point, they've run 50 laps. So we'll see when they're going to come down. But we'll see if anyone has anything for Kyle here with his extra pit stop he's going to make. I think it's going to be pretty close. But we'll see how it plays out.
I'm wondering if Don and David are kind of fuel saving a little bit and trying to do a 2-stop and trying to make it to lap 60 and making it a 2-stop race. I mean, that would be an interesting and really bold call, to save fuel on both runs and make it on 2 stops.
Yeah, it's definitely something you would have had to commit to right away, and I guess if we think back, we saw the 4 or 5 cars up front battling, but there wasn't the 92 or the 15 originally at the start of the race. So maybe that's exactly what they're doing. They're trying to sit back and see if they can save enough fuel, like you said, to make 2 pit stops instead of 3 or even 4 potentially, and run this out to the 60 lap mark. So interesting developments. We'll keep an eye on it as we ride around here with as we take a look now at the 16 of Kyle Purcell.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely interesting because we know that 15 at speed he qualified up in the top 5 for qualifying, so we know he knows how to make fast laps, but I think he qualified 4th or 5th and immediately dropped back. So we'll see if they can make it to lap 60, or I don't think they even need to make it to lap 60. I mean, that would probably be the ideal mark because 117 is close enough to 120. I mean, you're still gonna have to fuel save, and I think those 3 lesser laps are not gonna make that much of a difference.
Yeah, it's probably lap 58, 59, I think might be where they need to get to make it. But I wouldn't feel comfortable. That's a lot of fuel saving over 2 runs. Like if these guys, if we look at guys like Sean Purcell and Larry, right? They pitted around lap 39, 40, so they're saving 20 laps of fuel over 1 run, and that's pretty impressive if that's the strategy that plays out and gets them in a good position.
Yeah, definitely. If one of these guys gets in a podium position, we'll have to. Oh well, we can probably ask anybody actually how long you can naturally go without fuel saving, because I think it might be longer than we think, because I don't think someone would realistically try to save 20 plus laps of fuel. I don't think that's just in the realm of possibility. You have to be so slow that it wouldn't really be worth it. So I think you can go a little bit longer than some of the drivers that have already pitted have, but I think they just wanted those tires, to be honest.
Give me a set of tires and we'll go fast for a little bit, right? So
Yeah.
I guess Lurfano did run 46 before he pitted, so maybe that's a better indicator of how many laps a tank of fuel is. So I don't know. We'll have to talk to these guys. Even if they don't make it into the top 3, maybe we'll pull one up and have a word with them to see what the mindset was by running this many laps early in the first round.
Yeah, definitely. And Kyle Purcell, not catching Don as fast as I thought he would be. I thought he would have, already been up here semi-competitively, trying to pass Don right now. But he's only cut the gap down to a little under 6 seconds. And, his brother Sean, 11 seconds. So, I don't know, maybe they were pushing, a little harder than they needed to. And, they had to back their stuff off. But I definitely thought they would have caught Don a lot quicker than they have.
Yeah, they did have obviously some quick laps with the fresh tires, but as the tires have kind of equalized to where Don's tires are running, and as we say that, it looks like Don is headed down pit road finally, as he's completed 58 laps on a tank of fuel as he comes down pit road.
Yeah, as he comes down the pits, that'll be lap 59 that he's completed. So I think, yeah, I mean, I think he was trying to split it in half, coming down almost exactly halfway. We'll see, if he can, fuel save again, because you saw the advantage of staying out a 5-second gap on, Kyle, who was pitted, like 20 laps earlier than he has. 30 laps before Don has, and Don had a 5-second gap.
Yeah, and it looks like Dave Hara made it down to pit road that lap too, so the fuel saving for those guys equaled out to the same lap at the end of it. So it's everyone's now pitted one time. We had a guy pit at lap 28 who is on the camera now. It's Kyle Purcell in the 16 Band-Made Toyota. And then we had 2 guys run 58 laps, Don and Dave there in their 92 Ford and the 15 of Dave Hara, respectively. So interesting strategy. This is, I think I can say that this is the biggest swing in strategy from one end to the other we've seen in the first 8 races this year. We've seen some interesting strategy try to play out, but on a couple times cautions have ruined it and tightened the field back up. But this one hopefully, as we're getting as we've passed the halfway point already, hopefully this plays out all under green so we can see what the best call was.
Yeah, and it's interesting for this situation, because it looks like potentially all of these strategies could work out. So Kyle on his own, doing the 30-lap strategy, and out in the lead right now, and if a caution would come out right now, I mean that puts the ball in his hands, because if he's doing the 30-lap strategy, he's probably gonna want to be coming to pit road pretty soon. If he's trying to split this race in the quarters, but has a 3-second gap on his brother. who we presume is trying to split out into 3 stops. So all these strategies, have the possibility of working out just depending on how the race runs.
That's very true, and it looks like obviously Sean has been closing the gap here over the past 5 or 6 laps on his brother. That's the new tires coming. The new tires from pitting later. Sorry, if I could say it again. If I could just say what I wanted to say, right? But yeah, the tires from pitting later are closing this gap here later in the run for Sean. That's for sure.
Yeah, I definitely thought, Kyle, pitting early would maybe try to save his tires like really aggressively, so, he had something at the in these longer runs once, these guys with fresher tires would, start to reel them in, but it looks like just those fresher tires are just too good, even if you try to save to hold these guys off.
That's for sure, and it's definitely, there's such a gap between when the guys pitted early to late that no one can really change their strategy with no cautions yet at this point, right? Everyone's now 100%, I think, committed to the strategy, of course, unless a caution comes out. But if this plays out the way we hope it does with green to the end, then I think people are committed, and they're gonna have to ride this out.
Yeah, I definitely agree. The way things have worked out, they kind of don't have a choice. If like Don would pit with Kyle, that kind of ruins everything that he worked for. As you see Don, he's catching Kyle pretty quick right now, trying to get his lap back, and you can just see how different 30 laps of tire wear are here at Homestead.
Yeah, he's definitely catching him, and he's probably easily going to pass him just with the sheer speed he's able to carry off the corners. Whoa! As I say that, they almost run into each other. Good grief, that was close. But he makes it by without any too much issue, I guess we can say, and he's back on the lead lap.
Yeah, I think Don wanted the outside, and I think Kyle was trying to give him the inside. And didn't really communicate that well with each other where they wanted each other, but Don able to, get by him with not too much issue.
Listen, the last thing I think Don needs right now is a caution, and he doesn't want to be the reason for the caution on top of that. So as he gets by him and he starts to obviously pull away from him, it's definitely going to play out here. We'll see how it plays out as we get work through this.
Yeah, I think Don's goal was just to get past Kyle and get past Sean because, we think, that, Don and Hera have to fuel save to make it to the end. So I think his goal was to kind of push to get past these leaders and then start the fuel saving process, because at least he knows he's ahead of the people he needs to be. And because, sooner or later these guys are going to pit and he's going to stay out. So at least getting past these leaders, he knows that he's on the lead lap now. He doesn't have to worry about fighting to be the lucky dog or trying to fight to stay on the lead lap. He's securely on the lead lap now and pulling away from these leaders at a significant pace.
Yeah, that's for sure, right? You want to be on the lead lap as quickly as you can after pitting, and obviously he's got that done. As we can see too, that Sean Purcell is got that gap down to under a second. They're almost nose to tail here as they come off of turn number 2 down the back straightaway. So getting close, I think, though, also to see if Kyle lives up to the 3-pit strategy. He should be getting close to pitting in a matter of laps. So we'll keep an eye on these two up front, as we also need to keep an eye on how Don's progressing back up through the field.
Yeah, I'm interested to see if maybe Kyle's going to pit as soon as, Sean gets up there and passes him, because there's not really any, if he's trying to short pit everybody, there's not really any need to staying out there once, Sean's got up there and passed him. I would think that he would probably just pit once, he's gotten past for the lead, because, with those older tires, he's not going to, be battling back with Sean and to try to get this lead back.
Yeah, you definitely want to minimize the damage, I guess, for a lack of better terms, right? Just try to make sure that you let him get too far ahead of you before you pit, but he stays out there, and it looks like his brother's going to make that move on him in turn 1 and 2 as they head down the back straight. We got a new leader, a new old leader, I guess we'll say, right? As behind them, not far back, is that 15 of Hera, who's trying to be in the same situation, I guess, as Don was, right? Trying to get back on the lead lap as quickly as possible.
And I think, as Kyle goes down the pits, like as I predicted, I thought Kyle was trying to keep Sean behind him, but those tires are just so much better on Sean's car that, Sean just put his right front up and just aero pushed Kyle up, and Kyle really didn't have a choice, had to give up the spot.
Yeah, it doesn't really take much, right, when you get close enough to that, either the inside or the outside of that rear back bumper. It's enough air there to make the car unsettled and enough to let that guy pass. But as we say that, look who's coming down pit road. Sean Purcell is down pit road with 46 laps to go. So see, this makes me think that the guy who ran the closest to fuel was Dave Lurfano, because in the first session he ran 46 laps before he pitted, and with 45 to go, seeing Sean come down pit road, that makes me think that's the window right there. It's now open to make it to the end.
Yeah, that makes the most sense. Lurfano, making it kind of didn't try to save it all, but didn't try to save it all and just kind of pitting when the car was out of gas. So makes the most sense that as you see Kyle and Sean pitting at the same time, makes the most sense that that's around the ballpark of where a normal tank of gas would be without saving.
Yeah, so there you go. I guess we're in the home stretch now for if we can use a cliche. We've still got 44 laps to go, but we're going to start seeing the last pit stops of the race for these guys. And I think even for, let's see, Kyle, he pitted on lap 71, so he's right there too. He might be on the two-stop strategy. He just ran a longer middle and third section than he did the first one. So we'll see how it plays out. Lots of exciting racing still to come. I think we're going to take a quick break, if that's all right with you, and we'll be right back after this commercial.
Let's do it.
Back to more racing action right after this. With over 25 years experience, Lucky Dog Detailing offers the best of the best in vehicle reconditioning, fully licensed and insured. Their number one goal is customer satisfaction and developing a friendship with each job. Call them at 704-401-6075 or visit them on the web at luckydogdetailing.com. Lucky Dog Detailing, the best of the best in vehicle reconditioning. This race brought to you in part by Blue Gray Plastic Fabrication, repair, design, and fabrication of plastic holding tanks and plastic form products. With over 50 years of combined experience working in plastic fabrication, Blue Gray has achieved a reputation of one of the foremost custom fabrication leaders in the industry. Find them on the web at bluegrayplasticfab.com or call 704-226-7024 and get a quote for your next project. That's Blue Gray Plastic Fabrication. Now back to trackside action with the ORR Lawn Care Truck Racing Series of the All-American Racing League.
Welcome back to Homestead Miami Speedway, here with 40 laps to go in the Miami Vice 175. As we are in the middle of pit strategy, you haven't missed anything, as no one else came down pit road while we were away there, Christian, but right now we got Larry Garnes leading the way over David Lurfano, Don Manning, and Kyle Purcell and Sean Purcell, 4th or 5th after their pit stops, but barely just under a lap down, I still think. Yep, a lap behind the leader still, but obviously running quicker lap times than the leader. So let's see how this plays out as we bring it home here over the last 40 laps.
Yeah, definitely. right before we went to commercial break, I was gonna point out, it was intriguing to me that, Kyle pitting like 10 laps before Sean did. They still evenly, caught each other right as they needed to pit. So kind of, intrigued me, that like pitting 10 laps, I think the 10 lap marker is like the perfect time if you're trying to like make it even with someone. Because, Kyle pitted 10 laps before Sean, and I think Larry did. And when they got to that lap 45 threshold of when they needed the pit, they were, Sean had literally passed him that lap before. So very intriguing to see that.
Yeah, it's definitely interesting to have two different strategies like that, and then to have them pit together after for their second pit stops type of thing, right? So strategies were very different to start, and we thought we were going to see a couple things play out, which didn't play out, and now everyone's kind of back on the same kind of strategy. So a couple stops for these guys and maybe one stop for Don and Dave. But as we say that, Larry is down on pit road for his second stop of the race with about 38 laps to go. So he's going to be able to get that tank topped up with some new tires and make his way to the end of this race. And let's David Lurfano drive by and take the lead.
I'm very intrigued to see, how Larry's rest of this can go. Pitted on the same lap on that first sequence as Sean, and stuck it out a little bit longer, so, not going to have to run as many laps on those new tires. So maybe he tried to stay out a little bit longer so he can, push his car a little bit harder out, maybe. I was very intrigued to see that, he didn't pit with the two Purcells.
Yeah, maybe he wasn't comfortable with how close the fuel would have been if he had to do it there. Although we know Larry's been a pretty big fuel saving guy so far this year. So definitely interesting to see. But with really the only couple guys left the pits are Dave Lafano. For sure, we know he's coming back in because he was last in on lap 46. So he's getting close to when he's going to need to pit. Obviously, Don and Dave Hare, we'll see how that plays out for them. But right now, it looks like Don is catching Dave, obviously, with pitting 12 laps after him. But Kyle and his brother Sean are also catching Don. So that's not ideal for Don because those are the guys he needs to stay in front of. And if he's going to do a one-stop strategy, they're getting pretty close, and I don't know how comfortable he feels right now with the decision he made.
Yeah, I was intrigued about that because, I figured, these Purcell brothers, would have been farther behind pitting at another time, but they don't have to go down pit road again. At least that's what we think. And if Don's trying to save, neither does he. So probably not what Don thought was going to happen, trying to stay out. The first round of pit stops when he did that, he had like a 20-second gap lead on the whole field, doing the same strategy. I think maybe the Purcell brothers kind of like were communicating with each other and figured out what Don and they were going to do, and maybe adjusted their strategy to kind of make it so Don would maybe have to adjust his as well.
Yeah, as we ride on board the 16 of Kyle Purcell, you can see the 92 and the 8 even further up, but they're getting bigger in front of Kyle, which means they're getting bigger in the rear view mirror of the 92 car, which is not what Don wants to see right now, and hopefully he'll be able to hold on for at least a top 3 or 4. We'll see what plays out of this, but they're catching him quick, that's for sure.
Yeah, definitely. You see Hera, which is on his same strategy, 11 seconds behind behind Lorfano right now, which is about 10 seconds behind this big pack right here. So you're going to see Kyle, pass Don. You're going to see Sean get back up there and pass on with just these fresher tires. And Lorfano still has to pit, so I can see maybe Don, surviving for a top 3, but bold strategy call, but not the right one, I guess, for this race.
Yeah, we say that now. It's not over. Still 30 laps to go, and we could have that dreaded caution flag, but the way these guys have been racing, I don't think there's going to be one coming out. With only 8 cars out there, the racing tends to be pretty clean, which isn't a bad thing, but at the same time, a caution would definitely tighten this bunch up and let us have a good run to the finish with everyone on equal footing. And I think as in previous couple races, it's going to come down to the 2 Purcell brothers and the 1 lap tire difference, if that makes any difference. But we'll see how this one goes here as Lerfano's now back in third, as the 2 Purcell brothers have gotten by him, and they're first and second now, respectively.
Yeah, I'm interested to see, what Sean's plan of action is. He's still got 30 laps, and it looks like Kyle's, he pushed to get ahead of Sean because, Sean passed him under the green flag pit stops, and Kyle, pushed his car to get back up there and pass Sean and, keep himself ahead of Sean. So I'm interested to see, Sean knows that Kyle's using this stuff up and just trying to linger there and maybe force Kyle into a mistake or, wait on Kyle to burn his stuff up too much. As I say that, Sean's looking at the inside and is going to try to look for this lead.
There he goes down the back straightaway, the 04 Pepsi Cherry Machine, or Cherry Pepsi Machine, not exactly sure what it is, but either way, he's taking the lead away from his brother. Hopefully he can get the pass done. Slides up in front of him on the exit of turn number 4, and we have ourselves another lead change up front as they drive it down off into turn number 1 here as we are working lap 90 of the 117 total distance here at Miami for the Miami Vice 175.
On the contrary side, you saw Kyle, not fight Sean at all, so maybe he knows that he burned his stuff up a little bit and has to save a little bit. And I think right now Sean with the lead is just going to try to pace himself, to get to the end, not try to push too hard. And I think Kyle's going to have to try to save something and then make a run at the end for him.
Yeah, it's true, because so far this race, we've seen Sean pass Kyle a couple times now, but we haven't seen Kyle pass Sean. So we'll see if he just sits back here and kind of, like you said, cools the tires off and lets everything cool down and make another attempt at trying to get back by his brother. But right now, Sean seems to be pulling away a little bit, but hopefully we get to see a good battle here towards the end of this one.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we're coming up on to, 25 laps in a couple laps. So this race definitely winding down, and with the way the pit strategy comes in without a caution, I think, it's going to be between these 2 Purcell brothers, and then it's going to be between Don Manning and maybe Larry for this podium, because Larry's out and he's 16 seconds behind this group of these 2 leaders, but with the fresher tires, maybe he can march his way up to at least get the Don for that podium spot. I guess we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, I was just thinking that as we see Dave drop down onto pit road, Lafano that is, onto pit road to make his final pit stop of the event. But yeah, I was thinking he's roughly about, looks like 9 seconds behind Don right now. So we'll see if he's able to close that gap like you mentioned. I think having the fresher tires might definitely help him close that gap down, but we'll see. Hopefully he can run him down. And obviously Don's one-stop strategy, he's still on that. He hasn't given up on it. Dave did. Dave Hare, that is. He came in and pitted a few laps ago on lap 86. So he's gone away from the 2-stop strategy. So it's just Don left on that strategy, and obviously hasn't played out yet to the way he was hoping. But we'll see. He's definitely going to see it through here the last 24, 23 laps we got left.
Yeah, I definitely thought that strategy was going to work out well for Don, Worked out really well in that first stint. And I think we all thought that maybe they were going, that the Purcell brothers were going to run it out to about, lap 80. They kind of split the race into thirds, but they pitted about 10 laps before Don would probably initially think they would, because as it seems, it appears that 45 laps is the threshold to make it to the end. So um, I really thought that strategy was going to work out better for Don, but caution could always happen. It could stack this field up, and with this tire degradation, everybody's going to come down and get some fresh tires if the caution would come out.
They sure would. That's for sure. They would definitely come and get those new tires. But for now, it's still Don in third with Larry still holding 9 seconds behind him. So he hasn't really caught up any in the last couple laps. But I guess it just proves how much you need to slow down over those additional, we'll call it 12, 13 laps that he ran in that first stint than his next closest competitor. So obviously not ideal. I guess we'll get to chat with him hopefully one way or the other after the race to see. Obviously, all these guys are pretty much locked into the playoffs just because we have so few regular competitors in the inaugural season, which is going to make the playoff run. We're going to reset the points next week, and we're going to have a good run at the playoffs, and hopefully we get some more long green flag races and some good finishes. I think it's going to be a fun end to the season.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you. With this series, debuting this year, it's a young series, so we didn't really have a lot of drivers that want to step up to the plate of running 2-3 series in this AARL league, but definitely excited to see some more drivers maybe step up to the plate next season and give a run at this.
It's these cars of the cars of the 3 NASCAR series. I think these are maybe I'll say the toughest ones to kind of get a handle of, and obviously just talking to Sean and his brother Kyle. They've come from leagues where they've raced these cars on a regular basis, so they have lots of experience in them, which I think as you can see has helped them. But we can't count out the other guys, right? We've seen Don score a win on the road course. We've seen Dave Lafano and Dave Hara both run competitively, just haven't found victory lane yet. So obviously Larry Garnes has had some good runs this year with a second place at the road course and a couple other top 3 and a bunch of top 5. So lots of good talent for the first year of the league, and like you said, looking to build on it next year and have some more cars out there every week and grow it to the levels that we see the trucks and the Cup League. Obviously the Truck League, I think we're averaging about 15 to 16 trucks a week, and the Cup Series is definitely over 20 every week, which is fun, right? Makes it tough because there's so many guys out there, but it makes it fun, that's for sure. Oh, we have another pit stop. Looks like Kyle has pitted again.
Interesting. I think Kyle thought he's not gonna catch Sean with.
Oh, he left. I know he's there. He left.
I think Kyle's having some internet issues. I think Kyle slowly getting gapped by Sean thought he had to try something different. So with 17 laps, I mean, Kyle's gonna get lapped by his brother, and I don't think he can physically possibly make up that much time. But a caution could change everything. He could take that wave around and get stacked up with everybody else. But I have no answer for why he would pay right now.
It looks like he actually left the race. He did say earlier in the chat that he might not be able to race it out to the end, so maybe something's come up and he's had to leave us. But regardless, we still have some race to finish up with 15 laps to go, and we got now Sean Purcell out front by 8.5, 9 seconds over Larry Garnes, who is catching Don Manning in second, who is being caught by Larry Garnes. That's for sure. That lead is there. The gap there is down to 4 seconds between Larry and Don. So going to have a battle for second place, I think, here before this is over. And then Dave Lafano is a lap down with his late pit stop strategy in fourth, and Dave Hara in
Yeah, what a shame for Kyle. Probably had something come up. That's more important than league. Probably some type of family issue or something. So hopefully nothing bad for Kyle. But that's definitely something Dom wanted to see. Uh, getting another spot. Getting some more points from this race. So looks like um, Don will definitely secure a podium, and so will most likely Larry. So looks like the top three are going to be really everybody's going to kind of run where they are.
Yeah, definitely just about, I think, now just bringing it home in one piece and not spinning out or anything, right? With 13 laps to go, you've done the hard part. It's just finishing now, and hopefully everyone can hold on to it, and Larry can get up here on the back bumper at Don, and we can have a good little battle towards the end of the race.
Yeah, definitely. I think Larry has enough time. I think he will get up to Don in time. We'll see how hard Don's gonna fight Larry. With effectively better tires. We'll see how hard Don's gonna let him. He's gonna race him, or if he's just gonna let him go and just take this third place on home with him.
That's it. Like I said, everyone's in the playoffs, so it'll be just a matter of resetting the points to, I think it's 2,000, and then 5 bonus points for every win. So that'll definitely help Sean with, I think this will be his third or fourth win of the season. So that'll be good for him. Points up here, up in the top corner as they run now. So yeah, Sean has 3 wins on the year, and if he brings this one home, he'll have his 4th, obviously, and he'll start with 20 bonus points, and then Kyle has 1, and he'll get 5 bonus points, and Don, our other winner on the year, has 5 bonus points. So we have a couple other winners, Cameron Harris and Rodney have both won this year. Haven't been able to compete every week, but if they do make it back out during the playoffs, they also too get the 5 bonus points. So for right now, looks like it's all Sean Purcell out front. Has been on and off for most of this race and the last couple races, so he's definitely got this Xfinity car, Holio car, figured out here for this series.
Yeah, definitely. Sean, like you mentioned before, is very familiar with these Holio cars, and kind of knows how to run a race here. A lot of people run these Xfinity cars a lot, mostly in these like iRacing official races where they're at the Mountain House like 40-50 laps, and they don't really know how to finish out a race that's longer than that. So definitely having a prior league racing experience in these things has really helped Sean and Kyle, and makes these drivers have to work so much harder to try to compete with these two.
That's for sure. Obviously, like you said, the shorter distances of the fixed races, everyone can kind of be quick for 40, 50 laps. It's the second 40, 50, 60 laps, right? That's really you learn how to race once you join a league. At least for me, I can say that that's kind of how I learned to be a little more conservative over a longer period, right? It's all about saving your stuff, and even though you have 1 or 2 fast repairs, depending on the league you're in, you just got to make sure that you don't want to make that change the way you drive. You want to be able to go out there and still be cautious, kind of, but at the same time try to get what you can as quick as you can, because that's the key, right? Trying to make those moves quick off the start, and then kind of settle in and run it out the end. But looks like we are going to have a little bit of a battle between Manning in the 92 and Gardens in the 20 here.
Yeah, I'm interested to see, like I said before, how hard Dom's gonna fight this. Like we said before, really wins the only thing that Dom would really want to be fighting for. So second place points isn't really gonna help him going into these playoffs. Since everything's gonna get reset, I mean those 5 bonus points from that win on Mid-Ohio are gonna help a ton at the start of this, and hopefully help carry him through the playoffs. But Don's also a competitor. I've known him for a couple of years now, and I know he's not just gonna pull over and let Larry have this one.
Yeah, that's for sure. And I think it's fair to say that Don favors the road courses a little more. So it's been fun to have him out here on the ovals and see him improve over the years. Over the years, I say that this is the first season. Over the 8 races that we've had, right? He's been getting better and better and putting himself in better spots. Obviously, pit strategy kind of hurt him a little tonight, but he can take his notes from tonight on what he did and how it worked out, and work on his next strategy for the next race, which is a completely different animal because we're going to Indianapolis in a week.
Yeah, Indy's always a interesting racetrack to go to, in any car. If you don't really have the lines down for Indy, it can be really challenging. But once people get the hang of it, it can be really fun. I'm interested to see this battle because you see Don taking away Larry's preferred line. I don't think really Larry's ran up there on the top all race. And Larry's really, like we've said before, committed to into that bottom. But so is Don, and Don's not gonna let Larry have his line. And I think Larry's having to learn how to run that top a little bit better, and it's helping Don, stay in front of Larry right now.
Almost tried to jam it in there, and I don't think there would have been enough room. But with that said, he let out of the gas and let Don get straight. But yeah, I think you nailed it on the head. Just not having a lot of laps up on the top, other than maybe passing some lap cars, but being committed to one lane. It was beneficial before until you run into a guy who's committed to running the same lane as you, right? You gotta go where they aren't, and in this case, the long way around is not working out for Larry. But you can see him trying to brake early to keep it on the bottom, so you can try to get him on exit, and just hasn't got him yet. But we got 2 laps to go this time as they cross the line. So we'll keep an eye on this battle because we know who. We're pretty sure we know who's going to win this one out front. Sean Purcell's got a 10.4 second lead going right now, and the closest battle on the track obviously is for second place. So watch.
Yeah, I just honestly think Larry just doesn't have the experience on the top, because you see him trying to run the top like he went on the bottom, and it's just not working. You have to, let off earlier on that top and let the car roll, and then get into the gas earlier, get the run off the top, and he's trying to, get into the corner just as aggressively as Don is, and that just doesn't work when you're trying to run the top. You're gonna, have to let off. You're gonna have to, break the car even more, because the bottom, there's a little bit more banking, less banking on the bottom, which can help the car. Whoo! As Larry gets sideways. Jeez, what a save by Larry, but he's trying everything he can to get past Don right now.
He definitely was pushing it. As we go back up front, we see the 0-4 will pick up the victory tonight. And has Don run out of gas? Did Don run out of gas coming out turn 4 on the last lap?
I think he did. I mean,
goodness.
I don't think Don would be the guy to just let Larry by on the last corner. I think he had to ran out. What a shame, he put up everything he could to keep Dale Larry behind him, just to run out of the gas on the last corner, Dale Earnhardt Jr. style. That must be heartbreaking for Don.
Let's quickly jump inside here and go back, rewind this to when Larry passed him, and see if he's hold on, let's jump in Don's car. So here we go, we're on Don's car as he comes off of turn 4, and the RPMs are fluttering, dropping. Yeah, he's got no gas left. Look at that. Wow.
Yeah, what a tough break for Don, I think, Larry pressured him that much. It forced Don to maybe use a little bit more than he wanted to, and just so close, but not quite. As you see, Lorfano being a gentleman and pushing Don to his pit stall.
There we go. Sportsmanship, see?
Jimmy Johnson style.
Competitors on the track, but buddies off the track. Okay, let's hold on. Let's get the right camera angle, and then what we're going to do is we're going to see if we can grab Don and bring him in here with us. Just give me 1 second. Hey Don, it's Christian and Nathan up in the booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, I gotcha. How you guys doing?
We're great. We were watching the battle between you and Larry there on the last couple laps. I switched to Sean to see him take the checkered flag for his win. I turned back, and did you run out of gas coming out of turn 4?
I ran out of gas coming out of turn 4.
Oh man, so much fuel saving, and just to run out that close to the finish line.
Yeah, with him catching me and then fighting him at the end, I really couldn't, lift as much as I needed to, or at least to get back. So, yeah, it was a good battle. Coming out of 2 when he got loose and got sideways, I thought for a second I had him, and then it cut out coming out of 4.
Yeah, so walk us through that pitch strategy. So, like, how much were you having to save to make it on 2 stops?
So I got to halfway there or just past halfway, without really saving. It was more just trying to baby the tires at the start to see how far I could get, and that kind of got me there. And then second half, so Sean and Kyle did like the perfect strategy for what they're doing. Let me get out, let my tires get down, and then come into pit when they can just hunt me down and go through. And so I ran a couple real hard laps right in the middle to try to build a gap, and I probably should have just kept pedaling it in the end.
Oh yeah, such a tough break. We're interested to see because we thought that the fuel strategy would have been like 40, 50 laps, not almost 60. So we're just wondering, how far you guys could go. So it's interesting to see that you weren't really pushing. I mean, you weren't really fuel saving at all that first run, and were able to make it without any problem.
Yeah, well, I mean, I almost made it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I started far enough back and having to come through, and then when those guys peeled off early, just from the speed differential, pretty much the only thing I had was to try to make it to halfway. So doing my best. Like I said, wasn't really lifting any more than what I needed to get through the corners, anyways. And like I said, that kind of forces their hand, and they played it perfectly. So about all you can do.
Anything you want to say to him, Nathan?
No, I think you guys covered it all. You got to take a chance, right, to win these races. You kind of got to do something different, and you definitely tried something different tonight. Anyone you want to thank for getting you here?
Yeah, thanks to Peter, who I guess is broadcasting tonight, and No Bucks Motorsports, and some of the tools I use for training BRS being one to get there. Their stuff helps a lot, or at least giving you a clue to kind of how to go with that, and hopefully the different strategies we had put on a good show for everybody.
Definitely did. Thanks a lot, Don, and we'll see you next week in the playoffs, race number 1 from Indy.
Yep, looking forward to it. I enjoy Indy.
All right, see you then. All right, we got Larry Garnes in the booth with us. Larry, you got a copy? It's Nathan and Christian.
Yeah, I can hear you. How you guys doing?
Good. How are you? Good, solid second place finish for you tonight. Don obviously ran out of fuel coming to off of turn 4, and you were able to sneak by him there at the line. Tell us about that.
Yeah, I hate that for him, but I'll take it. I'll take his spot for him for sure. I thought he'd just let off the gas coming to the line, and I didn't realize he'd actually ran out of fuel. But yeah, it was a good run tonight. Freaking track will wear you out. It's slick. Everybody, I think, was all over the place.
Yeah, things were definitely interesting through the middle part of the race. You led a bit there, and then obviously had to come down pit road and relinquish the lead. But solid effort. Christian, what do you got for our friend Larry?
Yeah, I just walk us through like that the fuel strategy, because I saw you initially pit with I think Sean Purcell around the same time as him, and then you decided to stick it out a little bit longer. Walk us through like what made you decide to maybe stay out a little bit longer on that second stint.
Well, really, what initially I started, I was going to try to make a one pit stop run, and then when they pitted early, I thought we actually talked with my teammates David Fano and David Hare, and we was talking about it. And I said I think I'm gonna go on lap 40 and then hit lap 80. That way it just breaks it down even no matter what happens, and it actually played out for me.
All
Yeah,
right.
definitely a good strategy for you. I mean, you're one of the the one people that in this Holio series that it seems like they can like save their tires best and make your way up to the front. So a solid second place for you. Anything else for him, Nathan?
No, it's good to see you up here on the podium again, Larry. Anyone you want to thank, and then we'll see you next week in the playoffs, round one of the playoffs from Indy.
Yeah, gotta thank my teammates for sure. Man, Hillbilly Motorsports and Stripe to Remember Lawn Care. Everybody takes care of me. That they've get me to where I'm at.
No problem. Thanks again, Larry, and have a good evening.
Hey, you too, guys. Thanks.
Sean Purcell, you got a copy? It's Nathan and Christian up in the booth.
I gotcha.
Another win for you. That's number 4 on the season. With an exciting, I think for us at least, an exciting race with a bunch of different strategy. What dictated your strategy, and what did you want to see play out to get you to victory lane tonight?
Well, my plan was just to run 3 equal portions, so pitting like lap 43 to 45. But Kyle cut it so short at lap 30 that had that in the back of my head, and then I was trying all these different lines the first run, so I killed my tires and ended up smashing a wall on lap 40. So I just pulled in the pits. Larry had already gotten around me anyway, so I had to do something. Pulled in the pits, and I had taken note of what line Larry saved his tires using, and ran that one the rest of the race. And again, Kyle screwed my strategy again by pitting earlier than I wanted to, but I had just passed him for the lead. I couldn't give him all that position back, so had to pit again.
Yeah, that was a very interesting strategies. Like I saw, like we had mentioned Kyle pitting lap 28, and you pitting about 10 laps after, and it turned out that when you two decided to pit, you would just got caught up to Kyle. So very interesting pit strategy. So um, was there any doubt in your mind that you could have made it on one stop like Don did?
Yeah, I mean, you know how I've done these races so far. I'm a big on the fuel saving, but when I went to practice and stuff, it felt like I could only make it 52 to 55, if 57 if I pushed it, which would leave me 4 laps short at the finish. And with how bad the tire fall off is here, it's just not worth it to me to try to save a whole lap or 2 each run. Like, you just lose so much time without saving fuel. Saving fuel just make it worse. So I had in my mind 2-stopper was going to be the thing all night. When I stopped, did not go according to plan, but it ended up working out okay. I was a little worried that Larry would catch me at the end, but I don't know if he used his stuff up or if Donald got in his way or what, but he started to even out a lot earlier than expected on that strategy, so I have no complaints, that's for sure.
Yeah, I think towards the end, Larry was trying to push, obviously, to catch you, and like you said, use his stuff up. And then him and Don actually had a pretty good battle. I'd say the last 8 laps, and unfortunately, Don ran out of fuel coming out of 4, so Larry nipped him at the line. But a 4th win for you, which means 20 extra playoff points going into Indy next week. Are you ready for the playoffs? How you feel about Indianapolis?
Indy might be my least favorite track I've ever done, so I'm glad for that playoff point cushion. But I mean, I've won every intermediate so far, so maybe I'll pull something out of my rear. Who knows? Gonna have to put some practice in though, because I've been pretty bad there every time I've raced there.
Christian, you got anything else for our winner tonight?
Not much. You and Kyle were kind of the class field. It looks like you guys had that. You and Kyle kind of like as a team effort, kind of put together the perfect race. We thought Don maybe it made the God play of making it on one stop, but when you guys kind of undercut him, and timed the fuel strategy perfect. Kind of, inherited you the lead. Anybody you'd like to thank for this win tonight?
Yeah, Johnny was a little scared to come out tonight, but always thankful to him having me in the car, of course. Glad no sodas exploded in his freezer this time. Just wasn't comfortable with it, but gotta respect that. So yeah, thanks to Johnny, of course, and shout out to the Brian Bruh with 3H's community. They been very supportive of me in racing lately, and they may be watching. So if you guys are out there, hello.
All right, Sean, thanks very much. And like we said, we'll see you at Indianapolis next week.
Yep, thank you. You guys have a good one.
All right, Christian. So the end of the regular season, obviously Sean was the class of the regular season with his 4 wins, but we had, I think, 4 or 5 different winners to start the year, which is pretty good. So looking forward to finishing the year out, and we'll see you next week.
Yeah, I'm excited about Indy. Indy and one of the most famous racetracks in the world. When it comes to Indy 500, Brickyard 400 back in the day. So very excited to see these Holio cars go around there, and excited to be in the booth with you guys again.
All right, hopefully Peter can join us. He had other commitments tonight, so we'll hope to have him back in the booth. And for myself and Christian, we'll be signing off. And have a good night, everyone.
Back to more racing action right after this. This race sponsored in part by Graham Collision, professional automotive collision repair specialist. Visit either of their Iowa locations in Waukee and Urbandale for your collision repair and vehicle body work. Like them on Facebook or visit grahamcollision.com. Graham Collision, unparalleled support, unbeatable assistance. For the best selection of quarter midget parts online, look no further than FMI Racing. FMI Racing, helping racing enthusiasts everywhere achieve new levels of performance and quality in their vehicles with parts and gear. Give them a call at 770-720-1003 or visit fmiracing.com. 2092 Harmony Drive, Canton, Georgia. FMI Racing. Now back to trackside action with the ORR Lawn Care Truck Racing Series of the All-American Racing League.